And you see, the problem is the authority of a church allows us to blindly trust that authority. Often we're trusting, like I said, one man, the minister, who carries a lot of authority. We can trust the authority of the church more than we can trust the leadership of the Holy Spirit. It's what religious addiction is. I mean, religious addiction is being in a church, a religion, or a denomination where you don't have to think and make decisions for yourself. Now, you can see how that's very comforting. You can see how that, you leave it up to the authority of the church. It's not me, it's the authority of the church. Well, what do I believe? Well, let me question the authority of the church. What do I think? Let me question the authority. Let me see what the authority of the church says on this subject. So it's very convenient, and that's sort of, the only problem is a relationship with God cannot exist in that environment. No, the leadership of the Holy Spirit is individualized. It's you and what the Spirit tugs upon your heart and tells you to do and wants you to do. The leadership of the Holy Spirit is what you're after. Now, talking about authority and the authority of a church. In 1961, Stanley Milgram did something called the Milgram Experience. And what he was struggling with is do people listen to those in positions of authority even if what they are telling them is wrong? That's what he was struggling with, like Nazi Germany. When 6 million Jews were killed, and when those people were brought on trials, the Germans were brought on trial for why they did that. A lot of them would say, I was only following orders. I was only following my superior. And so the Milgram Experience wanted to know, do people listen to those in authority even if what they're telling them is wrong? That's what he was trying to figure out. So he set up an experiment, and what was involved was 3 people. You had 2 people that had met each other and knew each other, 2 individuals, two guys on the streets, whatever. They meet each other. And then you had the professor, you had the doctor in the white lab coat, whatever. The authority figure, that's what you had. And so the 2 people on the street came in for the testing, and they would sit down, and one would ask the other one a question. And if he got the question wrong, he would shock him with a little low voltage shock. No, you got that incorrect. Whatever. Well, as he continued to get questions wrong, he would ask a question. If he got it wrong, the voltage was clicked up each time. Start at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 120, whatever. And got the question wrong, we're up to 120. And the guy would scream, it hurts. Now, none of this was actually going on. It was an experiment. The one person was on this side of the wall, the other was on the other side of the wall. It wasn't actually happening, but it appeared it was happening. And the guy would turn and say, hey, he's screaming. The guy in the white coat would say, I'll accept full responsibility. Keep going. 130, 140, 150, 160, all the way until the guy quit screaming. Now this went on, I'll accept full responsibility. You keep going on. You just keep doing what I'm telling you. Very few, men and women, very few would refuse. Most of them kept going until there were no screams on the other side of the wall. So what it told us was there's a blindness to this authoritarian figure, that we will listen to this authority figure no matter what they tell us, as long as they will accept full responsibility for my actions, you see. So my point is, churches are more than buildings with a cross on top. They are authoritarian figures where we can relieve ourselves from any responsibility to think for ourselves. That's the problem.
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.